All right, this is Justin Brucken again at the Rockwell Automation on the Move. And I'm here talking to Mike with ThinManager. And from my understanding of what a Thin client does is basically centralizes the HMIs so they can all have the same sort of equipment in real time and create users for security. Am I right? Am I wrong?
That's a good start. So I would say initially it is managing your terminals and devices. How do you manage the terminals and devices that you have within your environment, plant floor, etc. And then not only that is how do you manage the security of the users getting the information on those devices, and then how do you manage the content that's being delivered to those devices and the users. And ThinManager is going to be, the Rockwell ThinManager platform is going to be what you're going to use to do that. So first and foremost, if you had a power failure today, what do you do in your current environment if you're running a PC with an operating system? So we'll create that scenario here. So I'm just going to unplug the power, plug it back up, and within 60 seconds you're going to see it boot up, and I'll kind of talk through it. So what it's doing now is it's connecting to the ThinManager server, and part of that is it's recognizing that there's an IP address, there's a MAC address. It's going through its security layer to say, hey, should I boot up, and what should I boot information-wise up? So that's what's happening now, is it's confirming the IP address, confirming we don't have a duplicate. We see a download progress bar go across. That's a good sign. ThinManager is booting up. Then what it's going to do, it's going to load the modules and the drivers, because by default, using a ThinManager platform, USB is disabled from a secure layer. So we're going to now have touchscreen drivers being loaded, mouse drivers being loaded, video drivers being loaded, and shortly you're going to see ThinManager come back up. The difference is there's no failures, there's no blue screen of death as we use in the PC world, and you're just back up and running. So the user has to do nothing except turn the unit back on. So that's managing a device in a terminal. A replacement takes 60 more seconds because you have to go get it, bring it in, and answer a couple questions. And then the content's delivered here, and what we had earlier is now here, and we're fully functioning, and I don't have to do anything additional.
So it's almost like you're making it dummy-proof and secure, basically no matter who's running the HMIs, right?
Correct. So what we have in mind is the operator should be able to replace this, not calling on maintenance and engineering. It's that simple that anybody should be able to do it, and maintenance and engineering is going to have a lot of other things to go do. And from an operator standpoint, they're so intimate and so close to this anyhow, to be able to replace something that they're using on a regular basis should be just an easy task.
So, so how can these customers keep all this stuff updated? Is this easy with ThinManager?
It is. So ThinManager itself is also a content delivery. All that content is sitting on a server, a pair of servers. You're going to update all those servers and that content on those devices themselves. ThinManager is going to push out the most relevant and latest version of those applications down to the plant environment.
So you got something going on the other side of this, right?
Let's do that.
Because I like what you're saying here about how this is about delivering content, not necessarily managing all these different HMIs in a centralized place.
Correct. Yeah, so this is the ThinManager interface, and we're actually shadowing that device that we were just on. This is the ThinManager interface, and these are all the different components and the different layers of content that we're actually pushing out. That particular unit was the 18-inch Versa view, and what we were pushing out was the cookie demo. And we were pushing out this information, so I can actually shadow that terminal, or I can go to another terminal, which is our mobile view, and on that mobile view, I can shadow what's going on, and actually it's a fully interactive shadow as well. I can reboot, I can send new information, I can have user information here, which ties into Active Directory, so I can badge in and badge out using a HID protocol badge. It's another thing that you can do. You also then can do mobility. So if you want to be able to take an iPad, if you want to go back to that side, we can do that real quick. If we come over here with the iPad, I'm going to log in as a user, and the user I'm going to use is Matt, and Matt's part of my maintenance team. So what I'll do is, I'll come into the ThinManager interface, I'll log in as Matt. Security and password is important, but when you're doing a demo, a single character works much better. And by default, that user is going to get Logic. Fully functional version of Logic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a resolve-based content, a QR code, And when I scan this QR code, I'm going to do a forced transfer of this application that's not mobile friendly to this device. So I'm going to hit Scan ID. I'm going to scan it, and I've just taken that away, and now it's on this device. And here's what we're going to do. If we walk away, we have it resolve-based content. We're going to walk over a couple booths here, and what you'll see is I will lose this information once I get past the range it shouldn't be at. This is called relevant. Resolve-based content, and there it is. We've lost that. It's now back on that monitor, so the person should not be able to take it further than the range that we've established, especially from a safety and a security piece. So now it's back up on the screen where it was before. So that's resolve-based content. So what we've been able to show is how you can manage content, users' information, manage devices, manage the device, user, location, and content, and lose it when you're not supposed to have it. So a little bit more than the question you asked.
No way, that's great. So why wouldn't a customer want to implement a Thin client ASAP?
So just the lack of knowledge of what it is. So we talk about Thin client a lot, but really what we try to talk about is zero client. Zero client means there's no operating system, there's nothing on the device. Typically when the industry calls it a Thin client, there is an operating system. So it is an industry word, but the knowledge. So what I would say is reach out to your local Rockwell distributor, have us come out there and show you how ThinManager works within your environment, and then if you like what you see, ask us for a trial of the license, try it in your environment, and you'll be very pleased.
Hey, thanks so much, Mike.
All right.